Today's recipe video is multi-meat meatballs, and this is really good if you have game meat. Mix your game meat with either pork or with beef, because those are higher fat meats. And I give you some suggestions on different meats that you can mix together to get the right consistency. You want some either all high fat or some high fat and some low fat, just for variety of flavor. Having a bunch of meatballs either pre-cooked or partially cooked or completely raw makes just pulling a few out for as hungry as you are really good for getting meals together in a pinch. And for some reason the meatball format, like kids love it, everybody loves meatballs. So I like to do half a teaspoon of sea salt per pound of meat. This is ground pork here. I'm gonna use 2 pounds of ground pork and then about 2 pounds of beef as well. A lot of times I'll mix in pork because it's a fattier meat with game meat like elk. And we are just seasoning this with salt. If you're eating dairy, you can use a quarter cup of a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese in place of the salt. And that is delicious. Parmesan is super salty. And then this is a little bit undersalted, so you'll probably want to sprinkle some more on top after we make the meatballs. So we have about 4 pounds of meat in here, so we are going to do 2 teaspoons of salt. We're just gonna mix it all together, roll it into balls. And then the baking sheet that I have right now is not my favorite. It's not a good quality, but it is metal. And so we're gonna broil these. You don't want to broil in glass or you will break your glass. So if you're gonna broil, you want to use a metal baking sheet, and I'm just gonna cover it with parchment paper. If you get frustrated with your parchment paper not staying down and keep curling up, if you crumple it and then flatten it back out, it stays right down. Not as pretty, but it's more effective. And then we're just gonna trim these edges before we put this in the oven so that it doesn't catch fire in the broiler. And so putting that little extra effort as you're watching these videos, you can put my videos on and just roll out a bunch of meatballs. It's kind of like meditation once you get started. It's really therapeutic. Having those in the freezer is a great kind of insurance policy because they don't take too long to cook against going hungry, and they're absolutely delicious. This delicious recipe is from our Carnivore Training Wheels class. In the Carnivore Training Wheels class, I get you up and running and successful on your first 10 days of the carnivore diet. Join me and learn how to set your mindset up for success on the carnivore diet, set your kitchen up for success on the carnivore diet, how to cook 10 delicious meat and salt only recipes using very minimal kitchen equipment, and get daily advice for day to day for the first 10 days so that you can stick with and see success on the carnivore diet. Go ahead and follow the link below and feel free to ask any questions in the comments that you may have.